This is your captain speaking, and in this video we're going to be doing just a bare bones basic for new people that are getting into flight sims. How do you get into the air? It's super, very overwhelming. Some people think that this is going to be a game, and it really isn't. It's a flight sim, and it takes some time to learn how to do some of the things in the flight sim. So my goal here is just to give you a brief overview of some things. Not going to go into crazy in-depth stuff. Just want to get you in the air, get you flying, and maybe I'll make some more tutorials down the road. How do you do flight planning? How do you do some VOR? Some very basic stuff. So for what we're going to do here, I recommend the Cessna Skyhawk. And we're going to start without the engines running. I just want to make sure, yeah, I don't have any AI aircraft in here. And I'm going to fly out of Hartford Brainerd. And we're going to just go ahead and start on one of the active runways. Okay. Not going to bother with ATC. We're not going to bother with, the taxiing and all of that stuff. This is, again, get you up in the air. Now, the Cessna is very easy to start. I'm going to walk you through it. However, if you want, simply come down here, click on this button, and the engines will already be running for you. Okay. We're going to do a simple pattern. We're just going to take off. We're going to make a loop and come back down and land. Real simple. I'll walk you through some of the basics in the cockpit. One of the things, if you don't know, your views, what you see, is very important, and you can actually set those for each aircraft, and we'll save those for each aircraft. When you move the camera, if you wanted to save that, just hit the control key and one of your numbers on your 10 keypad, and it will save that view. Now don't worry about that. Okay, so here we are. We're on the active runway. No engine started. Not really a good place to be if I'm quite honest here. Anyways, I'm going to just back this up. So here's our beautiful Cessna aircraft right here. And one of the things you're going to want to do is you're going to want to remove the yoke so you can get access to some of the buttons behind it. So hit the Y button and that will go away. You have your airspeed here, your attitude, you have your altimeter. These are used for ILS approaches, for your glide slope, and for VOR navigation, both of which we're not going to deal with today. You have your vertical speed indicator, measured in feet per second, or feet per minute, feet per minute. You can see that right here. You have your heading bug, and you can actually change the bug to hold your heading. So we'll actually just set it, well, it's going to change in a minute, but you get the idea. Okay. You have your RPMs down here, and then you have some of your GPS navigation as well as your radio stack. And down here you have your autopilot and your transponder. For your autopilot, this engages the autopilot. This tells it to hold the current heading. This is for doing navigation via radios, like using a VOR. This is for ILS approaches. This is for the back course on ILS approaches. This is to hold the current altitude, and this is to hold a current vertical speed that you want the aircraft to maintain. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on the alternator and the battery, and then we're going to turn on our avionics. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn right now, we'll turn the pitot heat on. We're going to put the mixture all the way in, and we're going to turn the fuel pumps on. We're going to turn our beacon and our nav light on. Now, this is what I would turn on if I was on the the tie down or whatever, not on the runway. Of course, by this time we would have all of our lights on here, but kind of skipping a couple of steps. So you want the fuel pump to go not too long, maybe 20 or so seconds. Then you can turn the fuel pump off, and you can come over here to the key and hold it down. And there we go. We have the engine started, just like that. Easy, easy, easy. So they're saying that our gyro's not aligned. To fix that, hit D as in Delta, and that will realign it. I'm going to set the heading bug to match our runway heading. This switch up here is if you want, when you're using navigation, if you wanted to follow the radios for the VORs, or if you wanted to follow your GPS flight plan. And when you hit the nav button, it will look at which one of these is selected. So if it's GPS and you hit nav, it's going to follow whatever you have programmed here. If you have it on nav, it'll follow whatever of your radios that you have dialed in. But that's again for another video. So we're going to change our pitch trim, just make sure we're good. Yeah, that's fine. Looking down here, I want this to be at the takeoff nose. We're going to give ourselves a little bit of flaps. Turn our landing lights and stuff on, and our strobe lights on. Now, with a single engine aircraft like this, it wants to naturally veer to the left, so you're going to have to use some rudder to guide that. Because of that, you're going to want to gradually increase your power. Otherwise, you're going to skid all over the runway. So I'm just gradually increasing the power here. And up we go. Now, I'm going to come down to my autopilot. I'm going to set those. My flaps back up. So we're going to climb at 800 feet per minute. Should be fine. Our landing lights right there, strobes, you can see our nav lights. This is our beacon light over here. That's the traffic on Interstate 84 there. Okay, we're going to make our first turn. We're going to make it to the left. And we'll do an altitude hold once we get to 1500. We'll switch right on over here. And that's good. Of course, you can also do this all manually as well, but we're just going for simple, simple, simple. Our airspeed down a little bit here. And there is Hartford. And we can go ahead and make our next left turn. Right over, well, sort of part of Hartford. There's Hartford's a small city by comparison to other cities, but there is definitely a few more high-rise buildings than what is depicted here. But that's okay. And there's the airport right there. So we took off from here. Whoop. And that's what I mean by being able to hit these, the number, once you hit control and like 1 or 2 on your 10 keypad, it'll lock whatever view you're currently at, and then you just have to hit that number and it will move to that view for you. So it's pretty handy. Alright, we are flying parallel to the airport. That is good. Interstate 91. And we're just south of Hartford. Ready to make our turn. Alright, we're going to slow down. We're going to go ahead and make our turn. Got some flaps here. Decreasing our altitude a little bit. Again, this is just a simple, how do you get up in the air? How do you start the aircraft? I've seen some people posting some of this stuff on the Steam forums, so just kind of wanted to make this as a very, very basic tutorial here. Once we get about here, I'm going to probably take over manually. We got flap-wise. Just disengaged the autopilot. And there we go. Now we are high, I can tell you that. I see the 4 white lights. We would want them to be half white and half red. There's one red. Still a little bit high. There we go. Now we're on glide slope when you have half of your poppy lights there. That's what we're looking for. If you're white, you're light. If you're red, you're dead. So that's how you remember it. So you want half and half. Sometimes you'll see them vertically arranged. This time they're horizontally arranged. Let's see if I can make a smooth landing. I did not have a good landing the last time I tried doing this. That is an area that I am trying to work on getting better at. Hey, that one wasn't too bad. I'll take that one. Apply some brakes there. So there you go. A simple little flight. Easy way to get yourself airborne in the aircraft. This is, again, just using the little Cessna. Great aircraft to start out with. Understanding some of the flight mechanics. You can do pretty much anything in this aircraft that you could do in some of the more advanced aircraft, even some of the jetliners. I mean, you can do ILS approaches in this. You can do GPS navigation and flight planning that way. You know, it's just a slower aircraft, and you know, it doesn't have any retractable landing gear or anything like that. But it's a great aircraft, easy to operate, and you know, I hope that this has helped some of you. And if it has, feel free to please drop a like on the video or subscribe. You know, I try to upload as often as I can, as often as my work life allows me to do so. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those as well. And until next time, this is your captain signing off.